We now move further to our next session, which is a case study discussion on technology migration balancing between the traditional and new technology. And for this, I would like to invite Mr. Tejas Shah, CIO from L'Oreal India. Tejas comes with over 20 years of experience in information technology and at L'Oreal. He joined L'Oreal India as the Chief Information Officer in June 2022. As Chief Information Officer, he leads the information technology strategy and execution that delivers technology capabilities that are aligned with L'Oreal's business ambitions while simultaneously transforming L'Oreal into a #1 beauty tech organization. Tejas joined L'Oreal in 2002 and over the years has worked across critical roles including business applications, data and analytics, and enterprise architecture in multiple cities within the Asia-Pacific region. With this, can we have a huge round of applause to welcome him on stage?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to talk over here. And today what I'm going to talk about is a case study at L'Oreal about technology migration and how at L'Oreal we are addressing this and how within a span of 3 years, a little over 3 years, I would say, from, I don't know, 100 to 0. And what is 100? 100 public or private cloud data infrastructure within the office or in the data centers to 100% public cloud. So since 2022, we are 100% on public cloud. But how did that happen? And I'm here to talk about that and the case study. But that is just a small part of it. We are not here talking about cloud migration. We are talking about the overall ambit of technology migration. So let's first understand what is technology migration and what we perceived as technology migration and where, again, L'Oreal is not a technology organization. We are a beauty company. We are selling makeup. We are selling perfumes. And we are selling hair care, hair color. So when it comes to technology migration, explaining to an end user or to a finance user or to anybody in marketing becomes very difficult to say, oh, I want to do a cloud migration. Okay, what is cloud, guys? Sorry. So as CIOs, typically, when you were working for end user organizations or manufacturing organizations, typically what I can confidently say is some of the challenges would come is by business to perceive this as a very technical way where I'm not, what is the value? Oh, yes, you are going to save cost because you moved to cloud. But yeah, after 1 year of cloud migration, you are now coming to me with 10% more because your cloud is not managed and you're just increasing, which was not the case earlier. And then that just slows the process and your entire migration becomes longer and longer and longer. So that's just about cloud. Let's talk about application. We do also a lot of application migrations because the applications get outdated, so we need to migrate to the newer versions, or we want to do data migrations because data is the new fuel and everybody wants to be fancy with data and analytics, do data-driven insights or data-driven decisions, but our old legacy systems are not able to support those high-performing analytics capabilities and so on and all that. That naturally starts creating a gap and starts again elongating over there. Or it can be a security integration, security migration, because there is a new security law or there's a privacy law because of which I need to migrate my existing capabilities to elevate that. I'm adding more and more digital capabilities, more and more facing the consumer on the internet, which means my older capabilities are no longer able to manage that. So typically as a CIO, what I have felt, and I'm hoping most of you also would resonate to that. Again, it's just not the full list of it, but it's not exhaustive. But what I can say is lack of sponsorship because the programs are running so long, saying, oh, your migrations are going endlessly. They're just going endlessly. You have 100 applications and you're taking 4, 5 years, 6 years. I don't want to do into that. And then the benefit I'm seeing is very this thing. At the end of the day, resources and funds becomes a challenge because always the priority goes to building new capabilities, doing new digital business, doing the fancy things and the amazing things around data analytics, big data, Gen AI, and so on. So there is never resources or funds. We're all limited on resource in terms of internal resources, our people, as well as the money. So that's always a balance and the shift that is happening, and this often migration gets deprioritized, which is what I said balancing between it. And then value realization and adoption, because when you do a migration and talk about it, we do lift and shift at times of just workloads onto cloud. What's the value? Or we just do some simple technology migration. What is the value realization Or sometimes even the challenge is adoption, because we are just moving from a technology perspective and not thinking about how my end user or my business users are going to adopt it and so on. Not an exhaustive list, but clearly these are some of the big challenges which happen and are faced by CIOs when we are talking about migration of technologies. So the question is really, how is our tech migration strategy in a silo? And if it is in a silo, how do we manage this? This is what we faced at L'Oréal. What we did, first thing, we stopped using the word migration. We said it's business modernization. And the moment we said that, things started changing rapidly. But of course, it's not going to be only about this. Just changing the name or brand, it does not change everything. What we talked about is to talk about doing this beyond application, cloud, and security, where we are talking about an integrated and a holistic approach to migrations. We are expanding the business and the business leaders' perspective on technology migration. And then how? It's by making sure that the integrated approach is fully embedded into new capabilities, new business models, digital transformations, new ways of working. And at the same time, legacy model. Because again, there are links. So when I want to modernize one of, say, application X, which capability is going to go and impact, or which business model is going to impact? How can I combine two of them together and make it one integrated so that I can piggyback on one of the new initiatives and drive it over there? Or is it part of any digital transformation? So if I'm doing a digital transformation, today we are living in a very composable world of microservices, hundreds of applications, hundreds of capabilities, and so on. You cannot just achieve digital transformation by just doing one application. It will have impact on some of or the other legacy application. Can I piggyback on that and drive my modernizations at the same time? And that's where comes is an holistic business into technology strategy, where it's really about making sure that while I am deploying new capabilities, while I am working on new business models, we always bring in the legacy, we always bring in the modernization aspect and new ways of working, because again, for our business users, when it comes to modernization, you're saying, okay, what we are offering you new ways of working. We are offering you better ways of working. Today, you have applications which don't have single sign-on. I want to modernize because I want to give you single sign-on. I want to give my employees, my customers, my consumers a better experience. And those are some of the value propositions which gives you traction and seat on the table to be able to start accelerating your migration journey. Otherwise, it's always going to be very long-running programs, frustrations, and no ROI at the end of the day. Now, having said that, is all that enough to drive a successful migration program at speed, at scale, and at agility? The answer is no. There are some key barriers which you need to think about, which will come along the way when you're talking about this. The first one is, of course, why the whole purpose we are doing this migration is because today we have history. Every organization we are in has an history. So we have old technologies, we have new technologies. They don't talk to each other. The architecture is inflexible. There are integration bottlenecks because application A is not able to talk to application B, and even if they are able to talk, it's a file-based, they have failures, and then there is no way to monitor it, and so on, and all those things. And then we are not able to scale. Even if sometimes we just say, okay, let's lift and shift something or just move from one capability to another in the interest of modernization, because we had to do modernization for some compliance reasons or some regulation reasons, then the question comes is, oh, wow, now I'm modernized, can I scale it? Oh, sorry, I didn't think about it. So that's one bottleneck we have to start thinking about. The second is very important in large organizations, especially I faced in L'Oréal, where L'Oréal is one organization, but we are running 4 organizations within that because we have 4 large business units, each competing with each other, each having operating in similar categories at different price points, or sometimes even similar price points. And then some are big and some are small. Whom do you prioritize? So within your organizations, when you have business units or you have functions where some of them are big and some of them are small, how do you bring them? How do you synergize them? Often there are overlapping capabilities between 2 BUs. Just doing the same thing, expense management. Let's give an example, expense management. Why this BU and this BU they're using different ones, and so on. Now the bigger one will have more power and the smaller one will have less power or money and to put on the table and so on. So how do you build it for scale. How do you really build it for the enterprise is what is going to be important, and really manage this unequivocal field, level playing field between different views. One is small and so on. Third is nagging long tail. And now what I mean over here is, while you have a transition or a migration roadmap or a modernization roadmap for all your applications, all your capabilities, all your infrastructure and so on, there will always be that last 20%, that 10 applications, that 15 applications, which are so small and so minuscule, where there will be no support, no budget, and makes probably no economical sense to migrate. And then what do? We are stuck. We can't modernize that. But when I'm doing a new digital capability, this application is still sending me data. Typical example is master data management. A lot of organizations have small workflow tools created in-house for master data management. But now when I want to, but they are very small. They were built in 10, 15 lakh rupees and so on, doing exactly what is wanted for. But it's not able to scale because it's very small, nobody cares about it and so on. And this long lagging tail is important to think about and keep in mind that they will come and hurt us back when you're talking about large-scale transformations. Shadow IT. This is the biggest problem also, is, digital is becoming very democratized. Today a marketing guy can go and subscribe for a SaaS software or a cloud-based software and so on. Now shadow IT is coming, and again, typically why shadow IT pops up is because they come to IT, they tell IT, oh, I am launching a campaign next month and I want to do a small website for this. I said, sorry, I have only 10 people with me, I cannot do it, come to me next year. So what do? The marketing guys will go and pick up the best agency or creative agency and tell them to build the website. And here you go, and then all the problems around with, oh, who thought about cybersecurity? Oh, but that website got attacked, and so on and all those things. And then somewhere that website or that capability which the business created becomes so big that it becomes unmanageable, and after 2 years they'll come back to, sorry, please manage this for us, because now we are not able to manage it because it's become very big, because we don't have the capability to do that. Innovation. Now again, when you want to innovate, you have to innovate fast. You have to do it fast, you have to fail fast, you have to test fast. But often, because of all these barriers, innovation also gets blocked. And then they are all somehow interlinked with each other and so on. So if I want to have an innovative idea, but I don't have the money, I will go shadow IT route. Or if I want to do an innovation, I don't have money, I will probably create one more long tail application, which is the smallest application created for 8-10 lakh rupees, but serves the purpose for now, serves the purpose in short term, but in long term, there's a problem. So these are some of the barriers which each one of us should keep in mind, and we definitely faced all of them at L'Oréal while we were talking about modernization or business modernization. I'm no longer talking about technology migration, because that's a word only for geeks like us. So what did we do at L'Oréal? We basically invested in 3 key enablers that is now driving modernization at speed, at scale, at agile. And I'm using this word when I say speed, it's because it's rapid. At scale, because it has the scale, no matter how small or how big it is, and it has enough agility to adapt to the ever-changing world, ever-changing business scenarios, and so on, and all those things. So what did we start with? First, we started with is making sure that the technology architecture and the architecture of the business is fully aligned. This took us 1 year in preparation. Now, this is now followed globally by L'Oréal, and it was done in a very inclusive way. I was party to it. Globally for L'Oréal, for every country L'Oréal operates in, I think 84, 85 countries that it operates in. What we came down with the business is 12 principles, which every digital capability, every technology infrastructure, everything that we do in this world should be complied to. If we get this right, it will tick all the boxes in terms of having our business happy, because let me give you an example. Data as a service. Today, business is all talking, everybody wants data. They want to do new algorithms, they want to do this, but oh, data is in silo. Oh, it takes me 6 months to do that. Okay, I am doing data as a service. I am, as a part of my new transformation, I am checking whether my new capability or the new application I'm building is it compliant to data as a service? Is it offering truly data as a service? Is it offering single source of truth? Is it consuming single source of truth? Often it happens is, okay, we go to the nearest place where I can get the data and I will do the integration. No, what we are saying here is, let's go to single source of truth. There should be only one source of truth. If I want product master data, it should come from only one source for anybody, employee, customer, consumer, application, infrastructure, whatever it is, and come from there. So some examples, but these 12 principles took a lot of time, but today we live by it. Everything that we do, we make sure we comply. And how we came with this, these are technical principles. But it didn't start from here. We started from business. Say, okay, let's talk about what business capabilities do we have in the organization. What are the main business processes we have in the organization? How are they interlinked? Which of the business capabilities are more strategic and more important for us? What is the overall vision of the organization? What is it that we want to achieve? One example is to say that by 2030, L'Oreal wants to have 50% of its business done online through e-commerce, direct or indirect. Now, that was a clear input. Now, to do that, clearly, some of this, you need to have single source of truth, because we are not going to just do websites. We will do social commerce, we will do assisted commerce, we will have different models of commerce online. So, at the end of the day, everything was able to translate all the visions and all the inputs we got from business in terms of what they wanted to achieve for the group at L'Oreal. Everything was encapsulated over here. So that was the first part. And then now we live by it. Every time we are doing a design, each of us are trained on this. Every employee of IT is trained on this. Our business users are aware about this. And when we do a launch of any new project, application, it is evaluated against this. Second is, at the same time, what we did was importantly invested in an API-first hybrid integration platform, because that is where we realized is the biggest challenge. We did have integrations, but again, they were all running in silos. There was no visibilities. We were using Informatica for doing API, ETLs. We were using some file transfers for doing file transfers and so on. They were not talking to each other. Or we were doing point-to-point integrations, which is what you see at the bottom, that little image I put over there. This is how our integration was 3-4 years ago. Everybody was talking to everybody, exchanging the same data object, making it a mess. And tomorrow I want to change anything, boom, I'm dead, because it's going to take so much time, because I will have to make sure that I unwind into all of this, see where are the impacts, fix all of them, and then go. So yes, we went into a common framework with a hybrid integration platform. And it's a one platform with multiple technologies for managing APIs, for managing ETLs, or even big data loads, even file transfers, because we still have to do some file transfers for legacy applications. We are continuing with that, and so on, and so on. But now this is topped up with a full monitoring framework. So we now have an end-to-end monitoring of what is happening. As of today, every single application, every single service, every single consumer is going through this platform for us, consuming all our data services. So we have a catalog of, I don't know, today already 60, 70 APIs. If any application tomorrow wants to create an order in my SAP system, a sales order, okay, go to my API portal. This is my API framework. Push the data, ask for authorization from me, push the data over there, and an order will be created. You will get a response back from there. But everything, all our integrations are now 100% moving through this. And that brings a lot of speed, because now we know exactly tomorrow when I want to modernize this application, it will need master data, it will need this. I know already this is there available. I just need to connect it over there and bring it over there. Last but not the least, this shadow IT problem, innovation problem, and so on and all those things. Very handy comes a low-code, no-code platform. So this is where the DIY, give it in the hands of the business, everything comes. Of course, there is a framework based on it and so on. But this is where you are able to do rapid POCs. You are able to do small applications, manage your long tail. Because they are very small, you are able to easily deploy on that. It is a pass at the end of the day, so it's again very easily manageable and so on and all those things and this thing. But this comes very handy to bring in the speed, to manage the long tail, and to manage innovations where I want to test first. Okay, and it is connected to my integration platform. It can consume any data that it wants. So, okay, I want my employees, I want to create a simple app for my employees to give a feedback. Okay, go to my API layer and fetch all the information from of the employees, and you're good to go. Build your forms with low code, no code. We have, and again, this is also hybrid. We have ServiceNow, we have Microsoft Power Platform, and then we have Google App Sheet. So again, depending on what use case you want to do, we have opened it, but it is under a framework where you're going to only use the data that is offered. You cannot create your own data within it. Then only we are able, otherwise it will be the same mess which will happen again. But these three were key investments and enablers for us to massively accelerate our migration. So finally, to conclude, APIs, they drive speed and agility of all transformations. You don't see it directly. You will realize it indirectly, because when you start migrating application by application, capability by capability, the 50% of the time spent on the project is doing integrations. Low code and no code will give you the right balance between innovation, between low-cost applications, building small things, quick, rapid, and so on. And last, drive it with right architecture principles, right mindset, which is fully aligned with your strategy of your business, will create scale, will create buy-in, which is also important, because then it is in line. It is piggybacking on building capabilities, and at the end of the day, modernizing the experience of the user or modernizing the business performance. So that's it. I'm happy to take any questions if any.
Thank you so much, Tejas, for sharing your expertise. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? And I'll request Mr. Chirag from Efficient IP to come forward and felicitate him.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again.